1.4% Nigerian African. I'm a sister, okay?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of God Built This Podcast. I am your host, Maxine. We're on episode 136. Hello? Anybody listening? Let's start off with R. Kelly. Let's start off with R to the Kel. So he is found guilty and it is official. He is going to the prison building, okay? Now, the question that I have is, I gotta make a joke. The question that I am literally going to my phone right now, my iPhone right now, and I am going to the library section where my music is stored. And I'm going to click the playlist section. And I'm going to scroll a little down because I downloaded this playlist years ago. And I have the R. Kelly Essentials Apple Music R&B playlist there. I just want to know. Can someone just answer this for me? I mean, do I need to delete this playlist? I know it's official. He's going to prison. But is he really making money off? People's argument would be, you shouldn't listen to his music because he's making money off of every listen. Is he? He's been bankrupt for however long. He's actually, according to a latest report, he's negative $2 million. That nigga ain't making no money if I play Bump and Grind one more time. Huh? Can I play I'm a Flirt again? Can I just play I Can't Sleep, Baby? I'm not in the party of shaming people. You guys know this already. I am not in the party of shaming people. Now, of course, let me give a disclaimer. Let me make this very clear. I do not condone sexual assault, sexual violence, predatory behavior, creeping on little girls, and I do believe he is guilty of these charges. I also recognize that he is not alone. He's not alone, and it's unfortunate that there are plenty of other entertainers in the business who have done what he's done, but maybe were more secretive about it and aided him in his pursuit of creeping on young girls. Where is the justice for those people as well? I think there's this like monopoly game going on where R. Kelly has to pay the piper, which is ironic as hell. But what about Jay-Z? Huh? Hello? Is the mic? I'm sorry. I know I love Beyonce, but can we call something's out? Back in the day, there were some suspicious activity going on. Jay-Z and R. Kelly were close. Huh? Can we call him out? Can we call out other rappers, entertainers, singers, producers, directors, the people who was in his damn entourage, the women who was in the entourage who brought their little nieces? Sparkle is not innocent, okay? She brought her niece around R. Kelly when she knew he was with Aaliyah when she was 15. She knew that he had a tendency of being attracted to and pursuing younger, underage girls. So my thing is, these parents, these aunts, these uncles, Aaliyah's uncle, all of them should go up under the jail as well. Okay? So to shame someone for being on the fence a little bit for having this playlist that I have of R. Kelly, I'm just like, just shut the fuck up. Like, at this point, everybody's guilty. Let's just say that. At this point, everybody is guilty and nobody is more righteous than the other. I do agree that he is to be found guilty. I do think that he is responsible for creeping and being predatory towards women. And I also think a bigger conversation needs to be had as far as why were so many parents and families, just caregivers of underage girls, so quick and willing to give their children, give their young girls up to this man in hopes of a career? Are we still believing that lie? Oh, let me just, take her under my wing and she's going to be a star while you're raping her, huh? While you're fucking her and giving her a record deal? What's a record deal? Like, we have to also keep it honest and keep it real. A lot of these surviving R. Kelly folks needed to be survived themselves. They're fucking shit up as well. And when I look at like all of these like self-righteous people, like, oh, I don't ever listen to him anymore, I stopped listening to him. Okay, did you stop listening to Fabulous when he beat up his wife and broke her teeth? Huh? Did you stop listening to Fabulous? No. Oh, you didn't. Okay. So there's a limit. So all these rappers and, entertainers who glamorize drug use, who glamorize murder, who glamorize just defamatory behavior, are you canceling them? No? Okay. So I'm going to continue to step in the name of love. And here's the other argument people like to say, but he wrote these songs and he was thinking about a 15-year-old. How am I supposed to confirm or deny that? I can't. I'm sorry. I wasn't in R. Kelly's head when he wrote Fiesta Fiesta with Jay-Z. Huh? I wasn't in R. Kelly's head when he wrote Feeling on Your Booty. Like, when you write songs, I don't know. I don't write songs, but like, anytime when you're doing something, there's a multitude of thoughts that come into your mind. I can't, without a strong declaration, without a strong conclusion, say he specifically only thought about 15-year-old women, young girls, while he wrote I Wish, I Wish, I Wish. And let's say if he did. I know I'm caping so hard because the reason why I'm caping so hard is because I don't like when people take away something from me that meant something so deep to me. Like, his songs held such meaning in my life, in my childhood. It brings such nostalgia growing up with my cousins and my sister and just being young. Being in the neighborhood back then, his music brings those memories to my life, and it awakens me to a period in time when things were a little bit more lighthearted, or a little bit lighthearted, not more, because things aren't lighthearted at all right now. But my thing is just don't take that away from me because you want to be on your self-righteous, I only listen to upscale moral people. What is morale? Yes, of course, morale is don't prey on young girls. And I don't condone that. Maybe it's just me, but I have a good way of, compartmentalizing my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions. I just know when to not let it be conflated with anything else. So when I'm singing thoing 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 thoing, it's because it reminds me when I was 12 years old and I was liking the beat. And I was in, what was that, 5th grade, 4th grade, singing it with my classmates, thoing thoing thoing. Everything's a joke. Okay, so I just look. I remember years ago. Let's sound so far, but in 2018, when I moved to Houston, and I got the job that I'm currently at, and I was out with my coworkers, and we was talking about. I forgot what we was talking about. Oh no, we was talking about like the greatest, the king of R&B. That was during the time when not random, but like a lot of R&B singers were randomly going online, creating a list of who are the kings of R&B. Like, how would you rank Tank, Trey Songz, and people like that in this list that people just make up arbitrarily? Okay, so everyone's like naming all these people, and I'm thinking to myself, like, not only did I think to myself, but I said out loud, I'm like, yeah, they're good and all, but R. Kelly's the king of R&B. Huh? What? Are we debating this? Is this a debate? He, in the midst of, because it was during the time when Surviving R. Kelly was coming out, and everything was resurfacing again, and I was still saying, yeah, yes, I recognize these charges, and it could be, let's do an improv class. It's a yes and. Yes, I recognize these charges are heinous and deplorable, and he's the king of R&B. And he's a genius. And the fact that he can't read, the fact that he can't just read, like, what? You can't fucking read, but you wrote all these hits. You created such a masterpiece. Yes, I'm giving you the genius flag, the genius hat, the genius card, regardless. I'm saying that to my coworkers. I'm like, yeah, he's the king of R&B. I don't know what the fuck y'all thought. This nigga's the king of R&B. Everyone's, and this is my first time hanging out with my coworkers, like, their first time meeting me, and I'm just like, I'm me, regardless of however long you know me. I'm me. Fuck. Okay? So, I'm saying this. Literally, the record stopped. Stop the track. Let me sit back. Okay? I've been here before. It's like, no, the record stopped. Everyone at every other table stopped talking to their friends and turned and looked at me. It's like, the record didn't stop, obviously, but everyone at the table looked at me. And I'm like, yeah, hello. Did you hear me? And it was like this awkward silence. No one said anything as far as, nah, we don't count. We just kind of moved on to the next topic. But I said what I said. And that just opened my eyes to, oh, this is some political correct some shit that y'all are on. You guys are on some political correct shit going on. Okay, got it. So that opened my eyes to just the climate socially at that time with the people who I was with. So yeah, I just think, overall it is uncomfortable to face the truth of someone's just deplorable behavior and their history of such behavior. And it's uncomfortable maybe admitting that, hey, yeah, he's still that nigga as far as musically goes. Like, it says something when you can't read, you're not academically strong, but you did such amazing work because you did it with your heart. You did it with feeling. And that is a universal language. You don't have to speak the same language. You don't have to be of the same hood as someone. If you just do something from your heart, everyone understands it. It is resonating to everyone. So that's what R. Kelly has done for me in his music, specifically his music, not him, just as he is, but like, he's done that for me. So I really don't like when people try to shame people for their musical choice and what they do when they want to wind down. Like, shit. It sucks that we can't hear him in public anymore. Niggas can't play them out loud. Niggas can't play his music out loud because of shaming. And that's really unfortunate. I would love to be able to listen to, when I tell you all of these songs from this playlist just hit every time it comes on. And I haven't listened to this playlist in a while, but eventually I would love to listen to I Can't Sleep, Baby. No, I would love to hear that outside of my car. I would love to be out at a day party shit, even at nighttime, and just hear someone play that real quick, and I'm gonna turn to the DJ and give him a head nod, like, yeah, nigga, okay, I see you, I see you, you know, I like that. Shit, you remind me of something. We can't. Come on, stop playing with me. But yeah, so he is guilty, and I'm just waiting for other people to be called out. So he's gonna expose other people as well, because he was surprised that he actually got the verdict. Which is funny, because people try to say, oh well, how could he be surprised? You have all these accounts, you have Surviving R. Kelly, you have, all of these alleged, pieces of evidence. I'm saying alleged because that's the legal thing to say, and I'm not saying that because I don't believe that he's a predator. I do think he's a predator, but he's saying that because he's gotten away with this behavior for so long, I would be surprised too. Like, oh damn, y'all finally caught up, So I would be surprised too. I think that's where he's coming from as far as when he's saying he's surprised. He's thinking that, look, let me go ahead and expose other people, and I want to see this get done. Who can he expose? Who is in our like untouchable list that needs to be called to the counter? Who is it? Because shit, it's a number of people who, excuse me, another people who, I just drank some water, I didn't fart. But another people who are just in the same boat, who hung out with him, who was close with him. So why would they not be some type of, I don't know, some conflict there? I just think overall, the entertainment industry is a place that encouraged and pushed for relationships between grown men, and really young women. Now, I don't want to say underage. I just want to say really young women. And it makes you wonder, at what point did that young woman, did she get pursued by this older man? Was it before she turned 21, before she turned 18? At what point did this relationship transpire? When we think about Kylie Jenner and Tyga, I don't know how you say his name, but they officially got together when she turned 18, but they were definitely seen together prior to her 18th birthday. No one's calling him to the court. It's just, a lot of people are just full of shit. Y'all just full of shit. Now, justice for Aaliyah. I think about Aaliyah and just who she would have been today. Would she have shared her experience, her story? Is there a there is a Me Too element there, of course, but prior to her dying, she did have a career, and this was after her and R. Kelly parted ways, but she never spoke about him. There was an interview that I saw, an old interview that I saw of Aaliyah, and the interviewer was trying to ask or just bring up R. Kelly, and the interview got shut down quick. Okay, so that was an off topic. You cannot bring this up. It was taboo. Don't say his name. Don't talk about him. And you never saw them together ever since. And I don't even recall seeing interviews or hearing of R. Kelly saying anything about Aaliyah after that point either. So maybe there was something legally transcribed to have both parties, both R. Kelly and Aaliyah, not mention each other, not be seen together, since that annulment of their marriage. I don't know. I really don't know. And I do wonder what she would have been saying at this point. What take she may have, what details she would have shared, because a lot of people are saying a lot of things that they saw between them, but no one, like, obviously Aaliyah is not here to share her side, and R. Kelly can't really say much, because then he'll be admitting to really being with an underage girl at the time. So it's just also sticky. I don't know. I don't know. It's also sticky, and I don't know. I don't know. Is it justice for Aaliyah? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I just hope she is. I wonder. I just wonder. But I feel like it's pointless to even think about it because what the fuck? What can be done? What can she say? Well, she can't say anything, obviously, but like even her family, like her brother. I remember she was close with her brother. Her brother, since her passing, has never spoken up, has never said anything, has never like her. It's like Aaliyah never happened. That's how it feels like. It's like the way that they don't talk about her, it's as if she never happened. Now, had it not been for her fans who kept her videos alive on YouTube, who kept different like tidbit moments that they have on visual of hers on YouTube, had they not kept that alive, then Aaliyah would have been forgotten. Seriously, the way that they don't talk about her is actually so strange to me. Her family don't bring her up. Brian Hankerson, her uncle, is still holding tight to her records, and he just finally decided to release her first album, which is okay, cool, but what about her other music? What about her entire catalog? Like there's a whole catalog of hers that is still tucked underneath lock and key, and I'm just wondering, why is that? It's just all so strange. There's a lot more that needs to be done to have justice for Aaliyah. Let's talk about this war against women. I'm going to say this again. There is a war going on against women, and it's held by trans women, it's held by LGBTQ community folks, it's held by everyone who are putting their pronouns in their bio. There is a war against women, and I'm not even going to. It's a war also held by people who like to use the word cis male, cis hetero. Those who use that sentence or that phrase, that label, is also against women. Oh my God. Are you still listening at this point? Shout out to everyone who is still here after this point. Well, hear me out. And the fact that I even have to say natural born women is ridiculous. But here I am saying that. I'm saying that because there is a difference between women who were naturally born as such and women who are women who were born as men who has transitioned into women. Even saying that is offensive because it's like, well, I was a woman at birth. I just was assigned the wrong genitalia and gender. Look, I'm not even. I don't have. That's my response. But overall, what I want to say is this war against women, against lives, it's very subtle and it's very in your face. And I wish many of you all will wake the fuck up. I wish every time someone asks you for your pronoun, you'll say, shut the fuck up. I wish every time someone will come up to you and ask you, how do you identify? I wish you would say, just shut the fuck up. I wish you would say that, because there is this idea that you now have to present the obvious to people because we want to live in a world where up is down and down is up, where hell is heaven and heaven is hell, where everything is left is right and right is left. Oh, there's a fly. Okay. And I'm here to call bullshit. So, ACLU, which is an organization that stands for American Civil Liberty something. Anyway, this organization came out recently to apologize for changing the words that Justice Ginsburg used in her in a quote that she said before she passed, of course. But in her original quote, she says, "The decision whether or not to bear a child is central to a woman's life, to her well-being and dignity. It is a decision she must make for herself. When government controls that decision for her, she is being treated as less than a fully adult human responsible for her own choices." Now, the ACLU posted this quote in a tweet, and instead of using the exact words, because, you know, a quote is your words, which is crazy. That's what I'm saying. Up is down and down is up. Now people are changing your direct words, your quote, to fit their agenda. And this is what's happening here. So the ACLU posted a tweet of Justice Ginsburg's quote and said, "The decision whether or not to bear a child is central to a person's life, to their well-being and dignity. When the government controls that decision for people, they are being treated as less than a fully adult human responsible for their own choices." You see the words that I'm using now? Huh? You see how her and she and woman is taken away? It's suddenly disappeared because we want to recognize that not those who perform or have an abortion are women, which is like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Caitlyn Jenner still has her dick. What are we talking about? I don't get it. I don't get it. So we're here saying, no, not only women could give birth. Okay, but only women. Okay, what? Like, we're now finding offense to science. We're now finding offense to biology. We're now discrediting God and how we were raised and grown. It's just, it really just irks my gears. And they did issue an apology for redacting her or reconstructing her quote. But they did it for good reason, right? So they're saying that they did it because it's to show inclusivity. They did it to recognize that there is a shift now in this world where men could become women and women could become men. And okay, I find me the man who gave birth to a child. Find me a man who gave birth. Like, we need to recognize that these specific DNA capabilities, genetic structure is specific to women, is specific to men. Like, women are giving birth. Mother Nature. This is what a woman's role is here in this world. And when we now take away the actual reality of what that is, we're now living in this delusion. We're now saying, oh no, it's not only women who give birth, it's just a person, it's just a people, it's just whoever you are to this day. I'm over it. We can't say she anymore. We gotta say they. We can't say a woman anymore. We gotta say a person. Yet you want to put pronouns in your bio, yet don't want to recognize that I am naturally this pronoun, right? Like, I am naturally this pronoun, so I'm going to naturally use she, her, you know, for my description of who I am. This is just a Twilight Zone. I want everyone to just wake up and start speaking up some more against this depopulation tactic when it comes to women, when it comes to men. The essence of a man is being attacked. the essence of a woman is, it really goes both ways. The evolution and the essence, the naturalness of a woman is being attacked. The evolution and naturalness of a man, the masculinity of a man, is being attacked. And we have to speak up and do something about that. So I'm grateful that they were called out on it and apologized for changing her direct quote. But the fact that that was even done, the fact that that was even done is just strange to me. It takes away the, the validity of a quote. A quote is someone's direct words. How dare you change her words to fit your agenda, to fit your idea of what's acceptable nowadays? Like, just because she's passed away doesn't mean that you could just take away exactly what she said and fit it to your agenda. That is just disturbing, and it speaks to where we are in this world. Now, let's talk about Black love. Black love. Love. Oh, what? Okay. I okay, Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. I could definitely say growing up, Jada Pinkett and Will Smith was the epitome of Black love, aesthetic wise, right? They just exemplified Blackness and love together. When they hosted the BET Awards years ago, I was watching it. I was just like looking at them and their chemistry and just how beautiful they are. They're just beautiful beings, individually and collectively. And seeing how they interact with each other just showed and proved this Black love that so many people around me at the time, and me as well, just idolized. This was the goal to achieve. I want that love. I want a Black man. I want a Black boyfriend. I want a Black husband. I want this. And they were one of the few Black couples who definitely demonstrated this Black love aesthetic. And I just love them for that. I love them for that. I love them separately and collectively. I love Jada Pinkett just has a being in many different roles. I loved her in A Different World and how well she just carried herself in the roles that she was in. And she just has a way about her that captivates you. Will Smith, every time, well, I haven't watched Fresh Prince in such a long time, but when I would see clips of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air circulate again on the internet, I will always remember that amazing scene, that emotional scene in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when, how come you don't want me, man? How come you don't want me? Yo! And he had that statue, that father and son statue that he was going to give to his dad, who walked out on him yet again. That was a beautiful scene, and I'm just a sucker for good art. So both of these beings, Jada and Will, exemplified art to me. So I just love seeing them respectively and collectively. They were just beautiful people. Come to find out, this Black love was not what it seemed. Jada and Will's marriage is not what it seemed. Well, here's the thing. Like, when I was younger, the idea of open marriage, polyamory, polygamy, all of that was not even, what? Huh? It wasn't even a thing. Like, what are you talking about? Huh? So he's cheating on you. Okay. Like, that was the conclusion. So that was never a conversation back then. It was never a thing that was said. But nowadays, niggas are, things are different. Let me just say that. Things are a little different. And Will Smith has revealed in a recent interview some of his difficulties in his marriage with Jada Pinkett Smith. And when I tell you, like, okay, look, you have to understand that with these like celebrity marriages, of course, they're going to go through ups and downs, and just with any marriage or whatever. But overall, with what Will Smith says, he says that they were constantly compromising for his career. Jada felt like her voice wasn't there. It didn't matter. Jada accused him for having just the largest ego trip in the world, and would do things like Will would do things to seemingly please her. Like, he threw her a birthday party apparently, and she was so upset about it because it was all in honor of him, essentially. Like, he basically got all the credit for it when she didn't want any type of party at all. She said it was ego driven. He, according to this report, I can't read every little thing, but basically it was an open marriage, and he has stepped out, she has stepped out, and that just is what it is with their marriage. And it just makes me wonder, what the fuck is the point? Like, okay, both of y'all are with other people. Both of y'all are in love with other people, or not in love with each other, right? Essentially. And yet you're still in this thing called marriage. And I'm just trying to understand yes, they have children together, so maybe that's a factor. But I also feel like there's a lot of pressure when you're married and you're married with kids and you're a celebrity, and you have to or it feels like you have to keep on this persona. And it's very, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that you have to live in a space where you're completely unfulfilled. And it seems like he's very like, just like, okay, well, it is what it is type of thing. Like, you live in one end of the house and I live on the other end of the house, and I bring people over and you bring people over, and that's just our agreement. I just don't, why not just not be married? So when we look at them now, it's just like, wow, this is the black love I idolized. This was the one that I really wanted for myself. And then, the rumors circulate again on the sexuality of Will Smith, and now the sexuality of Jada. Now, I'm bringing this up because I have heard just some rumors of Will Smith maybe being on the down low, allegedly, let me say that. But because of his role, I never saw that movie, but people always reference a movie that he played a character in who had sex with a man, or there was a scene where it seemed like he had sex with a guy. Obviously he's not really having sex with the guy, it's acting, but he was a gay character in that scene. And they referenced that scene and that movie continuously to prove their point. Like, oh, well, you see, he's gay. And I always used to brush it off like, well, he's acting. It's an acting role. Like, you could turn it on, turn it off type of, like, I never saw it as something to be mindful of. But hey, maybe that's the case. But you have that as an example, and maybe just other rumors that I've heard of Will Smith maybe being a little on the low, okay? Jada, though, allegedly, not even allegedly, I'm going off of what it seems like. She's always presented herself as this alpha personality, and not to say all alpha, please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all alpha women are gay, right? Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, just even by her shoulders, bitch, like, her way of being, like, she has this, like, very her jaw, she got a strong jaw, ma. Like, there's this, like, I don't know, like, there's this, like, I feel like if she wanted to bag a woman, she could type of energy. Like, she's like the nigga in that situation when it comes to a lesbian girl on girl, type of thing. So there's this other like conspiracy that maybe she's into women and maybe he's into men, and they're just each other's beards. They are just protecting the other from fully stepping into their truth and their sexuality, and that's their agreement, and that's why they're together. So I think that explains why they still haven't called it quits, because they may hold each other's secrets. They may know dirty, dark secrets that no one else know about the other. So, you know what? I'm just going to stay with you, because if I leave you, or if I even entertain divorce with you, then you may reveal something about my identity, about my history, that I still haven't come to terms with, and I'm still not open to sharing with everyone. So I'm just gonna stay with you and continue to do my dirt, continue to do my extracurricular relationship activities, just so this secret can stay as a secret. And that sounds like a good ass conspiracy to me, because at this point, again, like I asked earlier, why be married? Like, the kids thing is full of shit. I hate when people say I'm staying for the kids. Your kids don't even stay at the house anymore. Remember when years ago, was it Jaden or Willow, one of their kids, talking about, I want to live on my own? The kid was 14 years old, and Jada allowed for her child to go ahead and explore life and live on his or her own. And I'm thinking to myself, like, girl, what? Like, their reality is not our reality. Us civilians are living a whole different reality in comparison to these celebrities. So the whole, like, I'm staying for the kids, it's not even a good excuse. And it's not a good excuse because they're grown as hell as well, right? So I wonder, what else could it be? Like, I'm sure they may have gotten a prenup prior to getting married. Even if they didn't, they could figure out their assets and just figure it out, separate everything accordingly. Like, shit will be all right. They're not booking Will and Jada as a couple for roles and for different gigs. No, they're both booked separately as separate actors, and it shouldn't hurt their career. I just think ultimately both of them have dark secrets that they are afraid can get out. So instead of that risk being fulfilled, let's just stay together and settle with this agreement on having other relationships and it being what it is. Like, let the fuck be what it is. For so long, Jada was with August Alsina, had this, what does she call it? Entanglement with this guy. So that whole time, where was Will? He was with Margot, that white woman, whatever her name is, Margot something. They was in a movie together. So, like, they clearly have somewhat of an understanding. They have this open marriage, and I'm just trying to understand why. So I think ultimately it's because there may be something between them that is tying them together, but it's not enough for them to go ahead and hit that divorce, because I don't want everyone else to know what I really am, who I really am. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just stay married to you. It's kind of sick. It's kind of weird. Speaking of Black love, there's this conversation coming about again about whether it's worth it. Ultimately, that is the theme. Ultimately, or the reoccurring question: is Black love worth it? Is being a woman, a Black woman, is your desire to be with a Black man even worth it anymore? And again, I think this is another setup for depopulation. And I'm saying that because I think, oh my God, this is another way to destroy the Black family, the Black community some more. Let me tell you reasons why you shouldn't be with a Black man. Let me tell you why black men are not worthy of black women. So you should go ahead and go with other men outside of black men because black men ain't shit. This is another push, another agenda, another rhetoric that is continuously being put forth to destroy the black family because we are so powerful when we're together. So instead of recognizing that power, I'm gonna point out all of the fallacies, all of the just the eras of black men and make you be so disgusted by them to turn you off and turn you towards white men, Asian men, Hispanic men. And I'm here to call out the bullshit of it all. Look, I understand the argument that people would try to raise like, well, you shouldn't hold your breath for a black man because you're not going to find a black man to your standard, right? You're not going to find a black man who's college educated as you. You're not going to find a black man who has a good paying job as you. You're not going to find a black man who is without a criminal record or who isn't in jail, who isn't a down low gay guy, who isn't gay outright. Like, you're not going to find a black man who has all of these things, as if all of these things are so unreachable, as if all of these things are just in our heads. And yes, there's the statistic of black women being the highest group of people who are college educated, college graduates, and that's amazing. But we also are not recognizing the black men who are doing well, who are great at what they do, and who are just good stock of men. There's this notion of, well, if he doesn't have a degree, if he doesn't have his advanced degree, if he doesn't have a 6-figure salary, if he doesn't own his house, if he doesn't own a couple of houses, if he doesn't own a apartment complex, has the landlord, then he ain't on my level. My argument, like my criticism to that is, I don't like to look at the material things too much because, unfortunately, and not to make this a stereotype, but unfortunately though, what I've noticed is those who are the black men who are lawyers, college educated, and just like really like wow, like really good on paper, are arrogant assholes. Hello, is this thing on? They're arrogant assholes. And so I'm not attracted to you because your character ain't shit, right? I'm not going to I'm not going to pursue, but the point is, like, I'm not going to be interested or be attracted towards someone whose character ain't shit, but hey, he got a 6-figure salary. That's just not for me. Like, I know there are other women out there who are totally different and will still make it do what it do, and that's kudos to you. Sometimes I wish I was that girl. Sometimes I wish I would be like, if you ain't paying my rent, you can't talk to me, right? Like, I used to follow this girl online until I decided, you know what, I don't really like her, or I'm not in alignment with her rhetoric and her speech online anymore. But I used to follow this girl online, and she would say, basically, she has a book called The M in Man is for Money, which is very catchy, right? Very catchy. It's going to make you be captivated to what she says. And she'll have these like short clips of like just advice that she'll give to women to navigate how to get the man to pay for your bills, to get the man to pay for your rent, to get the man to just pay, spend on you, buy me a flight. And all of those things are nice. I would love that, right? Like, ideally, that's nice. But I also just feel like I don't ever want to feel like I'm your trick, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm in debt of you because you paid for this X, Y, and Z. I want you to pay for something because you care to do so, because you would like to, take one notch off of my belt or something, sure, that's great. I'll welcome it. But I'm never going to be out here talking about, I need to find a nigga out tonight who could pay my rent, see what I got to do to make that happen. That's just, I just can't, that's just not in me. It's not in me. But not a lot, but I know other women are a part of that type of lifestyle, and that's shit, kudos to y'all. I just can't do that for me. I'm just more so, I just look at everything as an energy pool, and I don't want to attract men into my life who just wants to spend on me. I want to attract men in my life who can I'm not attracting anyone else in my life, but I'm just saying, like, when I was single, that was never the motive. It was never the motive for me to find a guy who can pay for X, Y, and Z. Never. Like, my motive was always on some, I just want someone who I could connect with. That was always it. Like, can we connect? Like, do you feel me though? I always wanted someone like that. That was always my motive when I was single, when I was out, out in these streets and looking at niggas like, oh man, let's see how he is in a conversation, and just be a biggest dodo bird. I'm not attracted to that. But when you are very just aligned spiritually or whatever the case is, but if I could connect with you, then there's a door that's open. But you'll be able to spend money on me, and it's just I'm not that girl. So when I think about just the idea of Black love and how oftentimes we don't see that enough on TV, my mission continuously is to uplift that however I can, and to not harp on the negative images and the inequality that you see between Black men and Black women. If we have this limited mindset of, well, there ain't no Black man out there who's on my level, then there won't be any Black men out there who's on your level, period. And I understand the statistic of, well, there's more women than men. Well, sometimes you got to fight for one man, right? Or sometimes you got to move somewhere else where there are more men available, or I don't know, but we got to stop thinking in a limited mindset. And when we instantly go off of this whole data, well, there's more men than women. Okay, well, we make it work though, right? Something's going to give. Something's got to give. But ultimately, it's disheartening when I see Black women, especially online with these videos and just in conversation that I would overhear of this, ain't no Black man, Black men ain't shit. I'm gonna date outside of my race. It's not, my thing is with that is, it's never on some, why not just date, right? Like, why go out with this particular agenda? I'm purposely only dating white men from now on. Like, why not just like be out at a party and just connect with who you connect with? And if you happen to connect with a white guy, then that's fine, right? Like, why not just open yourself to that instead of going into it with this rigid idea of, I am only dating white men from now on, when it doesn't even it doesn't have to be that deep though. Like, can we just relax? Look, a lot of these like feminist, like very aggressive Black women are just like sad and depressed. Like, go get your pussy in. Like, something has to give. Like, a lot of y'all are sad and depressed, and it shows. And I'm here to tell you, sometimes you gotta submit, bitch. The argument that I would hear a lot would be, oh, we don't like Black men who talk to us about submission, and people have submission so fucked up. It's really weird to me, and I used to have it fucked up, right? So I've been there, and I'm here to like wake some people up out of this like a coma of I said a coma. Out of this coma of what it means to be submissive. This idea, first, okay, the myth is submission is you Not having a voice, you probably being beaten maybe twice a month, on some Tina Turner style. You not having your own identity, your own career, being a housewife, as if, mind you, and then there's also this negative connotation when it comes to housewife, when it comes to a stay-at-home mom, and I don't like that either. Like, why we have to put that as a negative thing? That's a beautiful thing. Like, wow, you are taking care of this home that we have built together, and because of you, this home is together. That is an honor. So we need to change our mindset when it comes to some of these terms that society is having us believe is negative, and it is destructive to the woman, when it's not. It's actually uplifting, and it's actually very inspiring. But anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, housewife, stay-at-home mother. Oh, submission is not this negative thing. You can turn anything negative. Let's be very clear. Anything could be turned negative, right? Money could be used for good, or it could be used for corruption. But yeah, so the same applies to any and everything. When it comes to submission, I think the way I see it now, since I've evolved my thinking about it, is about respecting the role each person plays in the relationship. And even saying role is like, ooh, déclassé nowadays, because, well, what if I want to take out the trash? I don't. I don't want to take out the trash. I do not. You could do it. There are roles that is very applicable for each person, and I'm totally fine with that. And I think, of course, it's a relationship where we can discuss what works best for us, right? We don't have to be strict to what is traditional and what is societal. We can figure out what works best for us. But I think ultimately, one person is being submissive, right? You can't just be in a relationship and both parties are super head honcho. Everyone's hitting each other by the neck. There's always an argument. Like, why am I with you then? If I'm always arguing with you, if I'm always trying to prove my point to you, this is not a relationship. This is a dictatorship. This is a student and teacher relationship type of thing. Like, it's not healthy for me. I think their submission is healthy. I think you should be able to submit to your partner in whatever capacity that looks like for you, right? I can't tell you how that looks like for you, but I think in some ways, submission is fine. Like, just relax. Like, you're not being whipped, okay? You're not being thrown out the fucking building. Everything is fine. Just suck his dick a little bit and you'll be fine, okay? But yeah, I think Black love... I'm just going to keep on rooting for Black love. It's just really sad. The attack that's going on is attack on women, attack on men, attack on Black love. What else? What else, my nigga? What else? There's this Haitian woman I follow on Instagram. She's this entrepreneur, and she's married to a white guy. And they live in Texas. They live in Dallas in particular. No, I think they're in Austin. They're either Dallas, or I think they're in Dallas actually. And she's a Haitian woman. Like, she was born in Haiti. She emigrated to the States. She lived in New York for many years, and then she and her husband moved to Texas, either Dallas or Austin. And she has kids with him. They have 2 children under the age of 2, and they're this interracial couple, which is okay, cool, whatever. What I find interesting, though, is that I wonder where the fuck y'all met. That's always my question. I just want to know where y'all met. Because when I tell you this guy is a white guy, like, he's probably like IT. Like, he works at Google type of white guy. And they've been together for a couple of years prior to them getting married. So they have some history, which is fine. But I'm just wondering, not oftentimes, but I have been noticing a trend with Haitian women, and I'm sure other Caribbean women, but I'm just going to fixate on Haitian women because I have another example after this, with Haitian women who are literally from Haiti, like, and I have to say literally from Haiti because that is the detail that you need to harp on. When you come from a land that is not strong in its infrastructure, when you come from a land that does not have a lot of the advances that America does, and America is seen as this, has this area, has this place of where dreams come true. Your goal is to survive, right? Your goal is to come out of this country and to make it and to finally live life in a non, like, and I said survive, but like, you want to do more than survive. You want to finally live, right? You want to finally breathe and appreciate what America has to give you. And unfortunately, when you have the image of black men and just black people, black Americans in particular, to foreigners, to Caribbean black folks, there is a lot of this negative connotation when it comes to black Americans. Growing up, Haitian household, Haitian, there's this term that we would say, or my parents would say, about black American thugs, like, niggas out in these streets, whatever. They will call them vagabond, which is basically a vagabond, a thug, don't mess with him. He's a vagabond, all this stuff. And he could have not have been a vagabond, right? But because he had his pants low, because he had a hoodie on, he doesn't look presentable, then they're automatically put in a box. Now, I'm just one household that experienced this, but I know many households who experience the same thing. So just imagine the media having been so influential to other countries who, though we share the same skin tone, we're seen as different because we're not in the same land, right? So a lot of Haitians have this negative connotation or negative mindset when it comes to black Americans and black American men. So when I look at this woman who came from Haiti and, came into the States, I feel like her pursuit and her idea of making it was to marry this white guy, was to seek a white man and to marry him and bear his children so that they could live this life of luxury that she wasn't afforded when she was in Haiti. And I see that in another example with the actress Garcelle Bouvet, who is known for her role as Fancy from the Jamie Foxx show, and she's also on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. When she emigrated here from Haiti, because she was born and raised in Haiti, she emigrated here to Haiti from Haiti, and she did modeling and obviously acting. She eventually married a white man. Her ex-husband is a white man, and she bared his children, and they had this family, and finally she hit divorce once he was cheating on her and embarrassed her left and right, and it finally ended. But I'm just thinking about, and plus that white guy, when I look at his pictures, I'm like, this is the white guy. Like, neither one, Garcelle Bouvet's ex-husband and the Instagrammer that I'm talking about, neither of these guys, let me just say that, like, you know what I'm talking about, neither of these guys are like, oh, okay, girl, I get it, neither of them was like, okay, I get it. Like, I'm not attracted to either one of them. So I can only imagine, like, what the fuck we found in him? What did you see in this guy? But okay, to each his own. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But ultimately, it just continues to intensify this notion of foreign black women who come into the States. They are looking for a man who can give them this life of luxury. And Garcelle, the fact that she could even afford, not even afford materialistically, but like afford the opportunity to be on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, just proves that she married money. Okay? She married money, and though their divorce, she has a good payout from it, of course. So she's living well because of this white man that she married. And when I think about the Instagrammer that I was just talking about, she married money. They're building a house right now, and she'll take us in her Instagram story. She'll take us through the tour of the house. The house is huge, y'all. They have these sinks that are not the same sinks like me and you, okay? The sinks are different. And this is regular white guy, and I swear he's in IT, but he's doing something that is able to afford her this luxurious lifestyle. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, that's the game plan. I think a lot of times when you see black women, foreign black women, I'm just going to harp on them for a moment for this example, foreign black women who come into the States, their goal is to be with a white man because their perception of luxury and being able to sustain and afford the American dream can only be done if they're with a non-black guy, if they're with a white man in particular. So those are the two examples that came up in my mind. I'm just thinking about, like, damn, this attack on the black family, on black love it runs deep, y'all. It runs deep, deep. And again, this is not to discount those who just happen to fall in love with their white girlfriend who was their neighbor. And those things are organic, of course, and they're genuine. But I also look at it as a side eye because I do wonder, okay, which one of these interracial relationships are created organically, and which one are are done with this agenda, with this scheme to just make it in the States. And I think ultimately maybe she sought out, maybe that Instagrammer or maybe Garcelle Bouvet, she sought out this white guy, and she saw him as a way out. And eventually maybe she did fall in love with him and bore his children. But sometimes I look at these interracial relationships and I'm just thinking, like, okay, I'm unconvinced. Try again. Now we're not gonna leave this without talking about Married at First Sight. Hello. We are not going to leave this episode without talking about Married at First Sight. Whoo, child. Now, I want to start off with this amazing quote. I'm definitely not going to say it verbatim because I ain't got time for that right now. But when someone show you who they are, believe them, right? When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Who do you think I'm saying this for? Those who watch Married at First Sight. I hope you are watching it. Every time I talk about it, you're like, who are you talking about? I hope you're following along. But I am saying this statement specifically for Jose's ass. Okay? For his ass, for his wide monkey ass lips, for his eyes, for his curly hair, for his Napoleon complex. I'm saying it for him. This quote is for him. The issue with Jose is, there's a multitude of issues with Jose. I can't even begin to talk about the issues with Jose. In this episode, though, let's fixate on him being so defensive when it comes down to recognizing his childish and petty ass behavior for locking out his wife out their home. Instead of being humble, right? Instead of expressing humility in that moment and realizing, you know what, I really fucked up. I hurt you by doing that. I put you in harm's way, potentially. I put you in, at risk. I put you in danger for locking you out of our home, for leaving you without security and securing myself. Instead of being humble about his mishandling of that situation, of his childish and petty ass behavior, he was defensive. The first 20 minutes of the episode. And the fact that it took Rachel to not only bring it up the first time, because I feel like ultimately, if you're really sorry, you'll just say sorry, right? You'll come up to that person and be like, you know what, I realized what I did. I fucked up X, Y, and Z. You'll say it. It shouldn't have to take someone else painting out the picture of why you're sorry. I think ultimately with Jose, there's this ego that he has, and it's very difficult for him to apologize and recognize, hey, I'm not perfect here. And he presents this perfection that he believes he is, which is very funny because he has this, what is it, 750 credit score, because he have a whiteboard. He thinks he's his god, this god's gift. And that is far from the truth, Jose. It is far from the truth. You are at the bare minimum okay. Oh, cool. You look good on paper. Okay, but what that mean? This goes back to what I was saying earlier. A lot of the times when you have someone who's good on paper, who has their money in order, who has just their dealings and their assets and all of these amazing things that look good. Wow, it looks good. It looks like you're doing well for yourself. Okay, cool. But you're a shitty ass human being. The fact that he logged her out and is defending his behavior and is talking down to her and is swearing at her, cussing at her, it just proves my point that the standard and this material perception that we have on, that some women have on men, like, oh, well, he makes good money, he is a homeowner, he owns several residences, and okay, what that mean? Is he a good human being? Does he have the traits of the Holy Spirit? Right? Like, let's bring it back to the bare minimum. Is he kind? Is he compassionate? Is he understanding? Is he generous? Is he a caregiver? Like, what does he offer? What does he bring to the table? And that's what whenever I think about that term, that question people will ask, what do you bring to the table? The men in there, they would defend it like, well, I bring money to the household. I bring security to the household. I'm the reason why you can get your hair done. All these things. Like, okay, cool, that's great and all, thanks. But are you bringing kindness to the table? Hello? Are you bringing compassion to the table? Are you bringing humor, just openness? Like, those are the things that need to be at the table, not your 750 credit score. I don't give a fuck. Well, thank you for having that, though. That's great. I am in pursuit and it's going well. Praise be to God. I'm so great. I'm so grateful for where I am. Just a quick side note. I used to be very cringy when it comes to money, when it comes to spending money, when it comes to saving money, when it comes to just the top, save money and I'm cringing. And it comes from, you guys know, because I talked about this in previous episodes, but it comes from this lack mindset that I used to have about money. And growing up, that was the mindset around money. My father, who was the prime breadwinner in the house, he will always say, I'm broke, I ain't got it, don't talk to me, don't ask me for money, this and that. Like, don't get me wrong, like, he cared for me and my sibling and my sister and my mom. He did well for himself, considering he's an immigrant. He came to the States and is a homeowner and paid for us through private schools and undergrad and all of these great things. But as far as his mindset around money, he was very anxious about it. We could only get what we needed, not what we wanted too much. There was no like family vacations we went on. Like, there was no fun associated with money the way my father brought up the topic of money. It was just, I'm broke, don't ask me for nothing. I only have enough money to bring you through college, to bring you through private school. It bled into me feeling the same way when it comes to money. It bled into me feeling like, okay, well, I'm only going to have enough for my bills. I'm only going to have enough to get groceries, and how dare I go out to eat if, maybe I go out to eat once or twice a month, but even that's pushing it. I should only buy grocery food and cook at home, which is why I love cooking, don't get me wrong, but for a long time it was more so, well, I gotta eat, right? So I gotta cook my own food. It was never on some, well, I could go out to eat and get some food, I could go order it from DoorDash, right? But anyway, I realized it was all a mindset that I needed to rewire when it came to money. And money became less of this cringeworthy conversation point. Money became more of a source. Like, okay, well, of course, I could make more money, and more money comes to me, and money comes to me in abundance. Like, I just became more open and less afraid of money. And that's where it was. Like, it comes from this place of lack, this place of fear of what if it goes away. So I've been feeding myself just this positive mindset, this growth mindset when it comes to money, expecting and just requiring nothing short of what I want and deserve for myself. Anyway, how do I get here? I got here because though money is great and all, don't get me wrong, and I'm grateful that I'm doing better with money. I'm grateful that I'm not feeling cringy about money and all these things. It still isn't anything, right? It's enough because you need money to survive in this world, right? But ultimately, when you look at your partner and you're seeking for a partner, I think money should not be your reason why you're with that person. It shouldn't be your sole reason. You should look at the person at their core. Are they a good human being? Can this person help me to be a better person? Or is this person going to be a poor influence in my life? And if it's the latter, then you should reevaluate why you're with this person in the first place. I think ultimately sometimes people get with people because it's better to be with that person than to be alone. And it, again, comes from this place of fear. It comes from this place of lack. So I just encourage anyone who has just cringy feelings about money, sit with yourself and sit with yourself and think about, where does that come from? And start to rewire your brain and your mindset about money, and start feeling good about money. Start feeling like you deserve money. You deserve this amount. You deserve that amount. And watch it just comes to you. I'm not trying to sound like all, ooh, woogie woogie, but I think it really says a lot when your mindset is different. Things become different. Okay, so just really work with your mind, because again, perception is key. Perception is sometimes most of the time, it is reality. Sometimes we perceive things so much so in our mind that we really believe it to be true in reality, and we live in this reality that we've perceived. Now, in that reality that you're perceiving, if you're consistently thinking that money is evil, money is bad, and you don't deserve it, or you can only make so much and you're only in this box, then you're going to always live in that reality mentally. Therefore, it's going to be what you're walking in physically. But if you change that mindset into, well, I could make more, I could embrace more, I could use my money and save it, I could use my money and pay down this debt, I could use my money and go on this vacation, and I could feel great about it. Like, it just helps you to realize, oh wait, more doors are opening for me, more opportunities are waiting for me, and it's because I have thought differently about this very thing that have been holding me back from just life. So yeah, child. It took a lot of inner work to get to this place. So thank the Lord. But I do encourage anyone, if you are feeling it just comes from, if you're just feeling, if whenever the money talk comes about in conversation, understand where that hesitation comes from, because it comes from somewhere. But anyway, Jose is full of shit, and I think Rachel should have what is it? What's the word I'm trying to say? Like backlash him or backslap him, not physically, but verbally, with his weak ass apology, talking about, first of all, I don't know if he even says sorry. I think he says something like, if I offended you. I hate that. If you ever come to me with some, if I offended you, you did. Like, there's no if. I've already made it clear you did. Like, what are you talking about? If I offended you, then I apologize. But you did, though. So just say you apologize. How about we just end it there? You apologize. Thank you. But even that is still not enough for me. If you say, if I offended you, I apologize, or if you say, I apologize, and period, right? No. I want you to go into depth about your apology. Maybe I'm just like, I love words, right? I love the theme and things. I love just books and all that stuff. So I do play a lot of emphasis when it comes to wordplay. So when someone's apologizing, I don't accept just I apologize. I remember my ex-guy, whatever, Boston Bay, he said he apologized to me one time, and all he said was, I apologize. And this was right after he like cursed the fuck out of me, just like nasty with his words. And he just texted me like an hour after that point, and all he said was, I apologize. And I'm like, huh? What is this? And of course, this is via text. It wasn't in person. It wasn't on the phone or on FaceTime. It was via text. So that was even more dull. But saying I apologize is not enough. I need you to be specific. And I wanted to say for what, right? But he's such an asshole that he would have been like, for what? Or what are you talking about? You dumb? Like, he would have immediately go back into calling me names and being mean. And so I just like let it be. Like, okay, he apologized. We're just gonna move on and not talk about this anymore again. But he thought that was an apology. Like, he thought that was enough. And I'm here to say, again, that's not enough. You have to be very specific in your language when you're speaking, just in general. And maybe I'm saying this as a teacher, because as teachers, we have to be specific and clear and concise when speaking to students, because they're only going to process so much in that spick of time when you're giving out directions or when you're explaining a skill, showing a model of a skill. You have to use your words to your advantage. And if you're going down this whole speech soliloquy shit, they're not going to retain any of that. You have to keep it straightforward. And that's what I expect when I'm speaking to people in general, not just students, but I expect it in my relationship with adults. Like, apologize for hurting me. Apologize for saying nasty things to me. Apologize for locking me out the apartment and leaving me without. Apologize because you recognize that was shitty behavior and you're embarrassed that you did that. And like, go in your apology. This is your time to show me your words, nigga. And Jose didn't show his words initially, but afterwards, later on in the episode, there he's going to the bed and he's presenting this presentation to Rachel, talking about here are these flashcards that I created to remind me to not lock you out. He literally had one flashcard that talked about he promises to never lock her out the apartment anymore. Nigga, are you on drugs? You need a flashcard? Please get me out. Yo, I could not. The woman I am today, had I been in that situation, I probably, and if I was in this damn reality show too, I would have cursed out all of the damn psychotherapists there, all the damn counselors, all the producers. Y'all fucking set me up. This nigga is full of shit. Fuck yeah. Like, I don't care. And go ahead and find me. Because, they get fined if they're not meeting a certain amount of episodes. Child, go ahead and find me. I'll figure it out. I'm not doing that to my mental health. But she accepted that. So I just think, you have Rachel, who is more emotionally mature, more mature overall. And she is presenting herself calmly. She speaks clearly. She very well articulates her thoughts and her feelings, and I appreciate that about her. And I think with someone like Jose, he wants more of a reaction. Like in that moment, 2 episodes ago, when she's like talking about she's gonna leave, and what he said, he's talking about what he said. He was saying, well, I could help pack your things, and I got some boxes in the other room. Just like very fucking snide. I would have picked his short ass up and threw him out the 22nd floor. What are we doing right now? And thankfully, she didn't react the way that he wanted her. Like, he wanted her. You could tell in that moment that he wanted her to be like, nigga, fuck you. Like, go in. But she didn't give him that glory. She did not give him that glory. She was like, okay. And she went into the other room and started packing up her things, and while the producer was trying to talk her down. But that brings me back to the point that I was saying in the last episode of this podcast, how I was saying how sometimes being the bigger person, it sucks. Because, when I was in my argument with my friend at the time, talking about politics, talking about differences in relationships and all these things, I still made myself clear. I still presented myself in a way that will make me proud, right? And yet there were moments when she spoke to me, my friend at the time, she spoke to me and she said certain things to poke at me, to dig under the belt, and to just really hurt my feelings. And instead of reacting with this intensity, with this emotion that she probably I feel like she wanted me to react. Like, she wanted me to be like, bitch, fuck you for saying, like, to like really go in. I didn't give her that glory. Instead, I was like, you know what? That wasn't cool what you said. That's really fucked up, but I presented myself in a way that was still mature, that was still how I wanted to present myself. But it still makes me feel like, damn, being a bigger person sucks sometimes, because you got to deal with fucking immaturity, and you have to decide, is it okay right now? But like I said in the last episode, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission, and I'm giving myself permission to, sure, if you want to curse someone out, go ahead and do it. Doesn't mean that you are less emotionally mature. It doesn't mean that. I just think sometimes you have to pick and choose your battles. And when I look at Jose and Rachel in that moment, when he was trying to just rattle her by saying, oh, I got some boxes in the other room, like, he would have been so joyful had she reacted more with hostility, right? If she reacted and was like, fuck you, that's why you ain't shit, like, he would have been overjoyed. But when you don't give, it's like a child, when you don't give them what they want, they get upset. So you have to kind of remember who you are in these moments. Remember you're being tested, and walk away and say your piece. Walk away and just move on, because you have people like Jose, you have people like my friend who would say things to kind of get you, and you have to collect yourself and not give them that satisfaction, because ultimately what happens is they look foolish. And that's really what it is. And that's what she looked like. That's what Jose looks like. They look foolish. Like, oh, you tried it, but it didn't work. You look like a fool. Anyway, we're going to move on. Let's talk about Michaela and Zach. Okay, what I said, because I wrote some notes down, and I was like, when dance doesn't bring you together, nothing will. And I say that because I think dance is such a way to connect people together. Is such a enticing way to conjure up feelings that were never even there. Honestly, you could be dancing with someone, not be attracted to them at all. But because they know how to dance and they know how to wind up on it, like they know it, it's like, okay, maybe I could have your baby. Maybe I could have your baby. Fuck. You know, dance is spiritual. Dance is fucking spiritual. And when someone knows how to dance and you dancing with them, hello, where we moving to next? Because I'm yours. Okay? But you see here, Michaela and Zach, they took salsa lessons and it didn't go quite well. And this reminded me Vincent and Brianna from the last season of Married at First Sight of how Vincent just had a whole pissy fit because he couldn't get the steps. He's sweating in his Walmart button-down shirt and he's feeling embarrassed because he just isn't as smooth and Rico Suave for Brianna, and Brianna's trying to hype him up, but he's just very embarrassed and awkward with it. It's embarrassing. It's giving embarrassment to me. But anyway, that just brought me back to them. So we have here Michaela deciding to suddenly stop salsa dancing. And she sits down and she's like, I just don't want to. I don't want to. And immediately I'm just rolling my eyes like, here the fuck we go. Michaela. And it's not just in I don't want to or I suddenly changed my mind. It's the fact that you are so in your feelings right now and you bring up something that was said last episode, but I don't know how long ago it was from this actual event. So I don't know if it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a few days ago, but it was recorded in the last episode when Zach said how he doesn't see a future with Michaela. And she brings that up as a reason why she didn't want to continue salsa dancing with Zach. And it's just so convenient how she'll have these like excuses to use to make her seem as this victim. Like, you hurt my feelings. You say you don't want a future with me, so why would I want to dance with you? First of all, if that was really the case, why did you even go? Hello? Why did you even go? Like, why did you even bother to get dressed, to put your hair in this faux afro ponytail, to put your red lipstick on, just to not really be down to do it? You're wasting my time. And now you make me look embarrassed. I'm over here dancing with this instructor look, when I should be dancing with my wife. Huh? And there's this also, like, she also has this, I think she's, what is it? Like, she doesn't like to look embarrassed either. She wants to look in control. And she was demonstrating some insecurity around salsa dancing. So I think that was also the case too. Like, maybe she feels like she didn't want to look foolish dancing or learning how to dance and looking stupid. Or I just think, like, have some sense of humor, have some lightheartedness. And she doesn't have that. And it was just convenient for her to use this excuse of Zach saying what he said a whole episode ago. Like, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? What? So I still think they're trash. It's given, what is it given? It's given corny. It's given, I need an excuse for everything. Zach is corny too. He's Mickey and mumbling with his words. I hate his freaking hand gesture. Something else is going on. Bow and Johnny. Bow down, bitches. So, Bow, I don't appreciate Bow lying, though. Look, I'm not on Johnny's side. I really don't like how Johnny reacts to anything that Bow does. I think he's very dramatic. That's the word? Yeah, I would say he's dramatic. He's anxiety filled. And look, I have sympathy for those who struggle with anxiety. I get it. Look, I know how it feels. I'm in my head. If I'm not in my head, I'm in my head. Like I'm my head is another residence for me. So I get it. I recognize anxiety and I see it instantly when it's shown. But I think Johnny is still corny as hell and he's dramatic. And I think with him, he is wanting this particular picture, this portrayal of how his marriage should look like, of how his wife should be. He wants it to be this certain way, and he wants to have this like lust. And not to say sex is like a negative, but I just feel like the way he talks about it is as if he only wants the pleasure and he's not interested in giving the pleasure to his wife, to Bao. Remember that scene a few episodes ago when he when they were presented with the gift, and the gift was a book, and the book on the cover was like how to please your wife or how to please your partner. I think it was your wife in particular. And the cover of the book was a papaya and it was shaped as a vagina. And he's like, "Oh, I don't eat that. I don't eat papayas." And maybe he was also obviously saying he doesn't eat pussies either, which is a red flag. I'm sorry, you don't eat what? Y'all know Blossom Bay never ate my pussy. He only ate my pussy once. Can I say once? Shit, I think it's once or twice. Once or twice. And we were together on and off for 4 years. Yeah, let the mic drop. That is a red flag, right? Obviously, it wasn't enough for me to it was enough, obviously, at that time because it was on and off, like I said, so I was talking to other niggas. But that is a fucking issue. That is an issue. I just, what do you mean? Is everything okay? Eat my pussy. Eat it. Eat it now. Turn off the recording and eat it now. What do you mean you don't eat pussy? What do you mean you don't eat papaya? Johnny, eat this papaya. Eat Bao's papaya. Not this. Eat Bao's papaya, okay? But Bao is lying about cooking gourmet meals. And I find that so funny. Like, why are you lying about something like that? That's strange too. Johnny said something in his confessional how he recognized Bao to be someone who lies to make herself look good. And this could also be because of how she was brought up in her childhood. She lived in a decrepit, like she said, home, and she came from poverty. So she was very aware of perception and how she wants to be perceived. She doesn't want to be perceived as this poor Asian girl. She wants to take control of that. So I think that is the psychology behind why she lied with cooking the gourmet meals. She just wants to look good. She wants to look like this well put together, perfect wife, when that's not the case. She talks about cooking gourmet meals, but we don't see that enough. And she lied about making it every day. There were clips that the producer showed in that edit that she hardly cooks. She's eating his food. She ordered food instead. It's just like, girl, you a damn lie. You don't need to do that. I'm trying to defend you and you lying. So you giving Johnny any credit to, to have against you. But overall, I think Johnny ain't shit. He still is unattracted to her giddy and girly ways. Now, I said before how I do think it's a little weird. Not weird, but I don't really care for her lack of woman-like responses. Not to say she's not a woman. Don't get me wrong, but I do hear and understand a little bit what Johnny is saying, how she gets childlike, and I could understand that, but I also feel like just accept it, like just be with her, like just understand her, just get to know her, like laugh with that, like be a part of that. And he has this corrupt idea of how a woman should be, like women should like be this seductress, Marilyn Monroe type, like no immature or childlike ways about them. Not to say immature in a bad way, but like just no innocence about them. And I don't think it's enough for Johnny to be unattracted to Bao for. I think Bao was trying. She is receptive when he would kiss her. She'll kiss him heavy. Like she'll like I think Johnny is full of shit. He needs to overcome that pet peeve of his, and everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. Everything will be all right. But yeah, those are the main couples I want to focus on. I'm super proud of Mirla and Gil. I really want to give them a shout out. I appreciate their growth. I appreciate Mirla finally giving in and opening to Gil. I think Gil's a great guy. I think he is a great guy. He demonstrates patience and he demonstrates honesty. I can't wait for them to finally get it on. Hopefully it happens, and we'll see about that. Brett and Ryan. Oh, child. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Ryan. I don't see what he doesn't see in Brett. I think she's such a beautiful girl. But look, if he's not attracted to her, he's not attracted to her. And he should just make that very clear and say, look, I only see you as a friend, or it's not hitting for me. It's weird because I've seen them be physically affectionate towards each other. He's emotionally supportive. He was very supportive when she had to put Baxter down. Sorry to hear that. But he seemed to be present with her. So I just don't understand why it can't go further. And I wonder why Brett can't even make that first move herself. Like when he's holding her, right, and putting his arm around her, why not just open your fucking mouth? Turn to him, go a little closer and kiss him first. Like, is she nervous, or is she getting cold shoulder and feel like, okay, this is not an opportunity? I don't know what it is. I still can't figure it out. I see them, both of them respectively, would look at other couples and see, wow, how come we're not far along as the other one? They're all lying. Michaela talking about she already loves Zach. You love who? You love Zach? Really? Okay, if that's love, I don't want it. I don't want that love, because she's talking about she loves him. Okay, but Brett and Ryan, they're looking at other couples, and they're wondering why they're not there yet, why they're not at that level. And they need to just focus on themselves and realize that this is just where they are. Hopefully it grows into something romantic, but I think they can make it. I just think Ryan needs to just go in and like stop looking lost and get a tan. Just get a fucking tan, Ryan. All right, y'all. We're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/GodBuiltThis, where you gain exclusive content and you'll enjoy more of me on there. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of God Built This podcast with your host, Maxine. Be sure to leave a review, give me 5 stars, and of course, subscribe. Also, follow God Built This podcast on Instagram at God Built This Pod. God bless.